guys, it's Kelly here, and I am just showing you the second portion of this. I actually started this card on Periscope, and my original game plan was to upload the video from my phone that I shot on Periscope, and it didn't work. I couldn't get the video off my phone. So for those of you who did not see the Periscope, this is a pre-made card front from Simon Says Stamp. And originally, the fall, the heart, and the things are all just open images. So I'm a big fan of taking anything crafty and doing something to make it your own. So while I was on Periscope, I showed the doodling in all of those areas, the word fall, the heart, and the word things. I just took a journaling pen. You can use a Copic multi-liner. You can use anything that is friendly for the medium that you're using. Those are friendly for Copics. So I just drew them in to make that design a little more mine. And then I'm just going in and using my Copics to color them. And in that way, anybody else who maybe has bought these pre-made card fronts from Simon, don't mind my big enormous head there, their cards will look completely different from mine. And I love that. I'm a huge fan of doing what you can to make a design your own. So doodling, whether it be with a black Copic multi-liner or white gel pen, anything that you you might want to give it a try. And I just picked some Copic colors that I thought matched really well with the background that I had done. And on Periscope, I had masked those things, those words that I wanted to leave white. And I masked it with liquid frisket. And then I used my Kuretake pan watercolors to do the background. Then once that's dry, you can just peel up the liquid frisket with your finger or with a kneading eraser, and it pulls right up, and then you have just clean blocks that you can color and do whatever. I love combining my Copic coloring with a watercolor background. Like I told you, or not you if you're watching, if you didn't see the Periscope, but like I told my followers on Periscope, I'm a huge fan of using watercolors for background when I'm doing a Copic card because it saves on the Copic ink, and I am just a total cheapskate, and I don't want to have to keep refilling my marker if I don't have to. It's much cheaper to use like 2 drops of watercolor and get a whole background. So anyway, when I color with my Copics, I start with the lightest color, and then I usually use 4 colors. So lightest, and then my 2 medium colors, and then my darkest, and then I will work in the reverse. So once I get to my darkest, then I'll go back through my medium shades down to my lightest. So I just thought that this would be, just something fun and different, and I really love these, the card fronts from Simon Says Stamp. They have these great little quotes on them, and some of them are just, fun, like this one is, and some of them are really uplifting, and they're just great to like take on the go and color. Even if you're just looking to practice your coloring, I'm always practicing my coloring. It's you don't get comfortable with a medium until you use it a lot. So if you follow my YouTube channel, you probably know I've been rocking these Kuretake watercolors for like the last 3 cards that I've done because I haven't owned them for very long and I'm not very comfortable with them. So I just keep trying and trying and trying until I get more comfortable. I think a lot of people get discouraged when they first start with something because they see what everybody else has done. And just like in life, we spend a lot of time comparing ourselves to other people. And just because what I do or what somebody else does is different than what you do doesn't mean that it's better. It just means it's different. And it doesn't mean it's bad. It does not mean it's bad. So just keep doing it until you get the look that you're happy with, whatever that might be. I don't know 2 people Copic color the same. And actually, I've never taken the online card class that they offered for Copics, and I never really thought that I would. And then I had a conversation with Christina Warner, and not name dropping, but that's who I was having the conversation with. So, and she had talked about how you could see the different ways that people colored and the different approaches that they took. And I was like, you know what, maybe I should take it, because I feel like there's something that you can learn from everybody. It doesn't matter if it's a card artist, like, someone who makes cards like I do, or if it's a scrapbooker, or just somebody who does, illustrations. Everybody approach is different, and you can always take something away from it. I'm a huge YouTube nerd. Like, I'm watching videos all the time, and that's actually how I learned to color with my Copics. So, I just wanted this to be fun, and so I was kind of open and free with the coloring and the colors I was using. You could definitely do it so that it was less busy, because mine ends up being really, really busy in the end. But I don't know, I felt like that suited the card. The quote is fall in love with as many things as possible, and I put as many possible patterns as I could on this card. So the one thing that I did do, and I think that I ended up cutting it out, I don't think that I showed it, after all is said and done, I did go back in with my Copic multi-liner and re-outline everything. And I usually do that on any of my images, whether they're digital or hand stamped. And I definitely did it with this particular watercolor, because they're so opaque and creamy, it really dulls any of the black that it goes over. So yeah, and it's like I said, I do it with every image, so it's not a big deal for me. It might be a big deal for somebody else. There's like a little cheat you can do if you're hand stamping it. If you have a Misty, I do have a Misty. I never use it for that though. But if you leave it in the same position that you stamped it in, you could just re-ink it with like some dark black ink. Most of the time when we stamp and we're coloring with Copics, a lot of us are using Memento Tuxedo Black, which is really like the dullest black ever. So that's why I've always outlined. Plus it just really helps make your image pop for sure. And with digitals, it works really well too, because a lot of times I like to use distress inks in my background. And if you're rubbing on distress ink, a lot of times my printer paper, the ink from my printer doesn't hold up on my cardstock. Like, it gets really, really dull. So when I first put down this orange, I was like, what did you just do? Like, this doesn't even match. It's not even not even pretty. Why did you pick that? But it ends up being fine in the end. Like, you just got to add little pieces, parts, and it'll be fine. It's just a card. So I try to work in threes. I didn't really do that. I just kind of added little bits of color here and there. I didn't want them to be like right on top of each other. So I tried to add a little bit to the top, a little bit to the bottom. But like I said before, you can really just do whatever and kind of make this your own. I decided I was going to use some blue greens, even though I used blue greens in the background, because my darkest, see, this is me, like, you can see me hesitate on the G. I was like, oh man, I don't even know if I want to put that much blue green down. But because the darkest color that I used was BG49, which is like a really dark teal, it ended up being fine. It was still contrasting. It didn't blend into the background like I thought it would. And then once I saw it up top and how much darker it was, I decided I could go ahead and commit to making the G that color. So, like I said before, you just play around with it and find out what works for you. Copa coloring is supposed to be fun, or anything in card making is supposed to be fun. That's why the quote says fall in love with many things as possible, and for me it's coloring mediums. I'm falling in love with new ones all the time. So yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else to really say. For those of you who did follow the Periscope, if you want to like drop me a little comment and tell me that this is like you enjoyed it, this isn't what you really want to see, or if you have requests of something that you would like to see on Periscope, I think it's super fun. I think it's a great way to interact with people. I'm chatty as heck. I just want to talk to everybody. So for me, doing the like the demonstrations and stuff is way more fun to do that. Um, Not that I don't love YouTube, I like doing the videos as well. But it's just fun to be able to have a conversation kind of in the moment, and just whatever topics come up. And so yeah, it's just so fun. Um, and I know that it stinks that you don't have them forever and ever, and I'm not on catch. So when they're gone kind of thing. So for the bottom of this, I decided I was just going to work in the rainbow colors. I picked the brightest mid-tone that I used for every color combination, and just kind of colored them in blacks to just tie the whole thing together. And then I went in with my white gel pen and started adding just some details. Again, just something fun, that you can use to make it different. Oh, I forgot I added a shadow, and that was actually kind of difficult for me because when Susie drew these, she drew some of the letters to be like 3D, but it didn't make sense all the time, like the way that she did it, like what the shading would be. Um, so I had a little bit of a struggle getting over that. So I was just using cool grays. I used C5 and C3 to do it, and it's something that I often add to my cards to just help things stand out a little bit more. And then again, like I said, I went in with my white gel pen, and I usually do my white gel pen before I do my black outline, just so everything stays pretty clean. And I'm trying to keep my head out of the camera, but it's really difficult when you're trying to see something that tiny. So that's pretty much the card. I just popped it up on some foam and added it to a white card base. Nothing too terribly exciting, but it was busy enough on its own. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will hopefully see you guys back here soon with another video. Bye!